Let's look at the science requirements. Now, we mentioned that you need 12 hours of science, and every science class you take, you must take the corresponding lab. Everybody takes biology plus a lab, period. You will not graduate from Francis Marion without one biology plus a lab. So just plan on taking biology plus lab, period. And they have to be done in the same semester. Business majors are permitted to use Psychology 206 plus the lab that goes with that class, Psych 216. You can use those classes as one of your science requirements if you want to. You don't have to, but if you're really not a science whiz, then we recommend that you use Psychology 206 and the lab, Psych 216. Those are really beneficial classes anyway when you're a business major. Now, there is a special exception. Let's say you just already took Psychology 206 and you're just now finding out, gee whiz, I could have taken the lab and that would have knocked out a science. That is the only exception. You may now take a Psychology 216 lab, even though it's not in the same semester as Psych 206. You can take it separately, and that will combine those two classes, and that will be one of your science class or science requirements. So here we would have so far what we've talked about: biology plus a lab and Psych 206 plus a lab. Okay, so that's 2 out of the 3 required science classes with labs. Now, if you take Psychology 206 and you say, I don't want to take the lab, no problem. That Psychology 206 will count again under those 15 hours of general electives that are outside the School of Business. If you don't want to take Psychology 206 and 216 as a science, you can take a second biology class with a lab. You could take another physics with a lab, another chemistry with a lab, or you can take astronomy with a lab. And you will have to take either physical science plus lab, or physics plus lab, or chemistry plus lab. So here's what you're going to have to take: 1 biology plus a lab. Then your choice, either physical science, chemistry, or physics with a lab. That third class can be astronomy with a lab, another biology with a lab, a physics or chemistry with a lab, or your Psychology 206 with the 216 lab. What you cannot do, you cannot take 2 biologies and a psychology. You cannot take 2 biologies and an astronomy. So what we normally recommend for business majors is biology plus the lab, physical science plus the lab, and psychology plus the lab. Now, if you just love physics and chemistry, and that was kind of your jam, and maybe you really liked it in high school, great. You're still going to take a biology with a lab, and then you could take chemistry and physics, or 2 chemistries or 2 physics. So you can do that. You don't have to take the psychology, but many of our business students are really not that interested in science, and that's okay. Again, if that's you, then take biology with a lab, physical science with a lab, and Psychology 206 with the 216 lab. But either way, you're taking 3 lectures and 3 labs. So those are 3 4-credit courses altogether. And you register for the lecture separately from the lab. So you're going to have 2 different section numbers. And generally, the system will not let you register for the lecture without the lab, and it won't let you register for the lab without the lecture, except in the case of Psychology 206 and that 216 lab. Again, if you have questions, you can put them in the comments below this video, or just get in touch with me and we can take a look at your situation.